The standoff along the China-Indian border is still ongoing. And since the deadliest clash in over 50 years occurred on June 15th in the Galwan Valley, the two countries have conducted diplomatic engagement and 5 rounds of military talks. But still, there's no breakthrough in sight. Amid the tension, Indian Prime Minister Modi vowed in his Independence Day speech over the weekend that India will build a stronger military. And he also said the country's territorial integrity is supreme. China on Monday responded to it. It was ready to work with India to enhance mutual trust and properly manage differences, adding that the right path ahead for the two countries is to respect each other. So now, what is the situation at the border? And can the two countries return to the path of de-escalation? Joining me from New Delhi via Skype is Professor Madhav Nalapat at the Department of Geopolitics and International Relations at Manipal University. And here in Beijing is Professor Su Hao, Director of Center for Strategic and Peace Studies at China Foreign Affairs University. Great to have you both with us. So let me first start with Mr. Nalapat. The border standoff between China and India has lasted for 3 months now, and the two countries have conducted rounds of diplomatic negotiations, but still no agreement has been reached. I mean, what's the situation? How would you assess the situation now? Is it getting even worse? What's the biggest difference between the two countries at this moment? All right, looks like Professor Nalapat is having troubles hearing me. Let me put that question to you, Professor Su Hao in Beijing.
Me?
Oh, that was a time lag.
Sorry.
Sorry, Professor Nalapat, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I simply want to say that, so far as the border is concerned, I don't think there will be a quick resolution of this particular issue. It's been going on now for several decades. And the reality is that both sides have different concepts of what constitutes even the line of actual control, much less the border. So those differences are still far apart, and therefore I think it's going to take quite some time before we have a resolution of this issue.
Professor Su, your thoughts on this?
Yes, I think that the situation already getting better because both sides already have their military talks with each other at their army commander level. And both sides already have agreement that, they clash. This is a miserable situation between the two countries. So both sides have to self-constrain to control the situation over their border area. So far, the both sides already step back. And the military confrontation already is reduced quite a lot. And now we already have their, Chinese Foreign Minister, State Councilor, Mr. Wang Yi, and the Indian Foreign Minister already have their phone call meeting. So both sides elaborated the common ground over their border area. So, at the moment, both of countries try to reduce the clash situation between the two countries over their boundary area. And also, the two countries have to, to enhance their mutual trust and the mutual understanding with each other over the border area. So I think that so far, so good. So I'm sure that if both countries have their self-confidence and self-responsibility to manage both countries' relation over the border area, so I'm sure that in the coming months, the situation could be more and more getting better.
I want to also get your take on Foreign Minister Wang Yi's tour to Tibet recently, Professor Su. So the Foreign Minister made this inspection tour to Tibet last Friday. Although he didn't mention India in his speech there, he is the first senior central government official to visit the frontier area since the deadly clash in that Galwan Valley. So this border inspection was described by some observers as, quote, unusual and symbolic gesture. How would you respond to that?
Well, actually, first of all, Tibet is the most important automatic areas inside of China regarding Chinese national building and national security. So in the past, Chinese central government already has their, conference on working, issues over the Tibet. And Tibet and Wang Yi already have their, visit in Tibet some years ago. So this past week, Wang Yi visited Tibet and have his official visit and have the inspection over the Tibet, internal Tibet area and the boundary area. First, his mission is to try to elaborate their internal, importance of their reducing poverty, removing poverty, and also local society and people's living is better. So this is most important for Chinese central government. Of course, the second, try to maintain and watch out their security around the border area is also very important. So this is a real sovereignty issue for Chinese government. So we have to watch out their security. But so far, the situation already get better. But Chinese officials already try to inspect the real situation, even in the infrastructure, building in the border area, so that they will have the special and stronger ability to safeguard our national security and border security.
And we have to point out that Foreign Minister Wang Yi's inspection tour came a day before India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Independence Day speech, in which Modi emphasized the importance of India's territorial integrity. Now, he said respect for India's sovereignty is supreme for us. Be it terrorism or expansionism, India is standing by to both and defeating it. And whenever India has been challenged, our soldiers have given fitting response in a language they understand. Mr. Nalapat, in that speech, he also promised to build a 1.4 million strong military to defend India's sovereignty. How should we understand that signal, Mr. Nalapat?
Well, I'd like to say that India is quite capable of fielding many more million people in terms of the military, because there are paramilitaries, there are people who are former military, and there are a lot of young people who frankly would welcome joining the military or the paramilitary. So frankly, Prime Minister Modi only said the obvious point, that no country is going to surrender its territory or surrender its sovereignty. And Prime Minister Modi made that point. So far as the Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit to Tibet is concerned, well, the reality is India was one of the first countries to recognize the Chinese rights in Tibet. And as recently as 2003, India has signed a very comprehensive agreement in which all these rights have been recognized. So I'm not sure what there is any reason for any kind of worry on that score. India has walked the extra mile, in fact, the extra 10 miles to reassure the Chinese side that India has no negative intentions on Tibet.
Now, China's foreign minister has actually responded to Modi's speech on Monday. Let's also have a look at this. So it says mutual respect and support between China and India is the right path and serves the long-term interests of both countries. And China will continue to work with India to enhance political mutual trust, properly manage differences, strengthen practical cooperation, and jointly uphold the bigger picture of bilateral relations. Professor Su, how are you taking this message that China is sending out? I mean, are the two countries now on the same page?
Actually, Indian side at the moment is not very friendly towards China, and in military way and even economic way, so make some trouble between the two countries. But from China's side, we still keep our positive attitude toward enhanced bilateral relation between China and India, and in particular in the past decade. So Indian and Chinese economic relation with each other getting more and more closer, and the Chinese government invest into India quite a lot. For example, like we help India to build industrial park, and also Chinese company, to export into India regarding their cell phone, many other routine life products. So make Indian people getting their lives much better. So I think that at the moment, India's behavior regarding some kind of economic, sanction against the Chinese company, or even, block some Chinese software inside of Indians, which is much welcome into Indians and for many Indian people. So I think that at the moment, the economic situation is not very good, but we think that India should be rethink about that, because both sides facing the task for the both countries' economic development and making the peoples getting better. So if India stick to such kind of their not very well and friendly behavior towards Chinese economic relation, So that will be a lose-lose relation between the two countries, and even more for India at the moment, because India is facing a big challenge regarding the coronavirus issue or even the economic development. So China, by this way, could make a good help to India.
Professor
So I think that
Nalapat,
India should be rethinking about that.
Professor Nalapat, let me get your take on this. These economic sanctions mentioned by Professor Su Hao there, because India has used these economic weapons against China now. After that clash, the government of India has targeted Chinese apps, including TikTok, citing national security concerns. It has also reportedly delayed approvals for mobile phone components and televisions, jeopardizing plans of Chinese smartphone firms such as Xiaomi and Oppo. How are you looking at such moves?
Well, I'd like to say that, you must not forget that 30 years ago, India and China had the same economic size. And today, your country is 5 times the size of my country. So we are trying to learn from China. Now, China ensured that in its own market, certain very strong competitors were kept out. And those competitors said, oh, China is shooting itself in the foot. China is making a big mistake. But you know what has happened? China has got global champions in all these fields. It has developed global champions. We want to go the same route. We believe that a big country like India, with 1.3 billion people, should have its own national champions. So we are trying to create our own national champions, and we are following the same model of keeping away some competition so that our own champions can grow and develop, and over 10 or 15 years, they can become global champions as well. So I think we should learn from China the Chinese success, especially a Chinese success in hardware and software. We would like an Indian success in hardware and software.
Yeah, I understand there's a self-reliance campaign going on there, but in addition to this, Mr. Nalapat, my final question, India has also moved to accelerate its military buildup and weapons purchase. And some analysts are saying India is now embracing Donald Trump's Indo-Pacific strategy, which was specifically designed to counter China. What do you think India's role is there in Trump's Indo-Pacific strategy?
Well, I'd like to say that the Prime Minister made it very clear that the Indo-Pacific strategy is not against any country. And he made it very clear many times that all India wants is a free and open Indo-Pacific. So far as the Indo-Pacific is concerned, because of that geopolitical construct, a central position has been given to India. Okay. So the reality is, India has been given significant strategic and geopolitical benefits as a consequence of the development of the Indo-Pacific.
We're running out of time.
And therefore,
let's leave it there. Thank you very much. Many thanks, Mr. Nalapat and Mr. Su Hao. And that does it for this edition of Point. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.